Welcome to Cooking with Jess. Today we're going to make a vegan protein bowl. It's going to be tasty, okay? So I know you hear the word vegan, and I don't want for you to jump and say, oh goodness, it's going to be a bunch of vegetables. But guess what? It's going to be a bunch of vegetables. But it's going to taste good because I added some extra things in here. So it's going to be wonderful. Now, here's the thing. There's two things I want to bring up. Number one, this is going to be a one-pot meal. So it's going to be one and done. We're not going to use many different utensils and all that wonderful stuff. It's going to go by pretty quickly. We have some quinoa here. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is I brought out the big dogs, okay? This is some roasted Brussels sprouts. Before you start rolling your eyes and talking about, oh, Brussels sprouts, why? Why would you do that? Brussels sprouts, they're the business. I don't know if you're like me. Here's my story. I knew nothing about Brussels sprouts. The only thing I knew about was watching like cartoons and like commercials about, ew, Brussels sprouts. Never knew what these things were, never tasted it. I didn't grow up eating it. But it's a veggie and it's green, and we're gonna hook it up today and get it in our veggie bowl so that we can experience something different. Now, if you have grown up eating it and didn't like it, perhaps it was the way it was prepared. Maybe it was not done in a way that's pleasing to you, or maybe you just don't like it. But I would highly suggest you try to eat it now. Jazz it up, try some different flavors, and let's see what happens. So we're gonna get started on the vegan protein bowl. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the quinoa. I like to use red quinoa. This is already heated. We're gonna put in, this is about 2 cups of the red quinoa. I know there's a tricolor option. There is a white option. I just like using this one. Then we have some of our peppers. So I put this on first, okay? And ultimately what's gonna happen is everything is just gonna steam. We're gonna steam everything. And what's going to happen is the quinoa is going to take on that flavor. I also have some cebolla. Cebollas is onions, if you remember. And we have some hongos. And these bad boys let off a lot of liquid. So that's also going to help with adding some flavor, not only into the quinoa, but into the hongos también, because let's mix it all up. Let's have it taste amazing. So we added that in there, and then I'm going to put in, I have some sweet potatoes. What I did with these, I put them in my wonderful Instant Pot, and I went ahead, and I'm going to talk a little louder because you hear the party's getting started. You hear it. What I did was I just let it, I peeled it and diced it, as you can see. Put it in the Instant Pot for 1 minute. So it's soft, but here's the thing. We don't want it to get like super, super mushy, so I didn't go overboard with putting it in an Instant Pot. And then I have my chickpeas. If this is your first time here with us, welcome. Here's why. With the chickpeas, I like to buy and use all of my beans from the dried state. So what I do is ahead of time, I go ahead and I take, you know what, before I put in this Brussels sprouts, I'm going to add this in because I want to make sure we get this in here as well. So I have sal, that's salt. I have some ojo, and then I have some cebolla en polvo. So that's salt, garlic, and some onions. I'm going to move my little cilantro to the side. That is really just for toppings. We're going to put that in there. So what I was saying is that, yeah, I like to start from the dried state, and then I use it in my Instant Pot and get it pressurized so that it brings it back to life. All right, so we got that in there. We're going to add in the Brussels sprouts. Now, these were roasted previously. Let's make sure this bad boy does not fall. Let's get it all in the pot. And I seasoned it. Now, let me tell you what I seasoned it with. This is how we do it over here. What I did was I simply added salt, sesame seed oil, and just a little bit of sesame seed oil just to coat it, and some There's this brand that I use. Well, I'm sure you guys are aware of Trader Joe, depending where you live. But Trader Joe's has it's a, what is it called? Can't think of what it's called. It'll come to me and I'll let you know. But it's like a non-soy sauce, kind of soy sauce thing. It's a coconut amino. And that's what I seasoned it with. And then I just put it in the oven. And that was it. And roasted it. All right, so now we're going to add just a little bit of agua. And the reason why we're doing this is we're trying to get the quinoa to cook down. Now, I know I said that was a little bit, but what I'm trying to see is, can I see it rise above? You hear it stopped, right? It's not making all that sizzling noise talking to us. And we're going to give it a very light stir, because what I want to do is I want to make sure some of that dried ingredients, the sal, ajo, and the cebolla en polvo, so the powdered stuff, right? We want to make that, just incorporate it in just a little bit. But then that's it. All you have to do is put the top on, give it about 15 minutes. That's it. Then let it cook. You saw that. I don't know why these things like jumping out the pot. Maybe I put a little bit too much Brussels sprouts. I got a little Brussels sprout happy. But yeah, we're going to leave it covered on a medium to high heat for about 15 minutes. We're not going to take the pot top off. Hello, listen. We're not doing that because we want to trap in that heat so that the quinoa cooks. Everything else at this point is cooked with the exception of the red and the green and the peppers and then the cebolla. And we just want to make sure that everything else comes together and the flavors come together. Also, the ungos were not cooked, but you can eat all of those things raw, so that's not like a huge thing. So we're just going to let this sit for 15 minutes, and then we'll be back and we'll talk about what additional ingredients I whipped up to complete this bowl. All right, so we'll see you in a bit. And we're back. Okay, so it looks like everything was doing what it was supposed to be doing in here. So what we need to check is the quinoa, because that is what we need to cook. And the way how we confirm that the quinoa is where it needs to be is we need to check for what's called the germ ring. Like I used to call it the little tail that comes out of it. And it's like a white little tail, but it's officially called the germ ring. And that's how you know that it's cooked, right? So I'm looking and I can see that it is. So we are going to plate this bad boy up. Now, yes, it's hot. We're going to do some nice little mixing just to make sure everything is mixed up in there. But we already know that the flavor has infused in all parts of this vegan protein bowl. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this in a little plate. And then we're going to add on some extra flavor, because why not? Let's get some chickpeas in there too. I'm going to get some chickpeas and some red and the green peppers so I can see it. You see that? Can you see that? Let's move that over to the next burner so it's not going to keep cooking, because if it stays on that heat, it's going to keep cooking, and we don't want anything to be mushy. So here's what I did, okay? I made two things that I'm going to top it with. I did a avocado mash, very simple. Let me know if you want me to show you how I make it, but ultimately it's mashed up avocado with some extra spices and seasonings. And then I made what I like to call my homemade tahini dressing. And it has, I don't know if you can see in there all the little bits of cilantro that's in there, and I have some other stuff in there too, but this is just going to intensify the flavor. So what I like to do is first go in with the aguacate or the avocado, go in with that, and then we're going to drizzle, and I'm going to try to do it as sleek and sexy as possible. Well, do you see? Listen, I don't have any skills when it comes to like food presentation. I mean, I try a little bit, but this is the best I got. This is it. Okay, so let's go ahead and taste this. Now, keep in mind it's hot. I'm going to do this for y'all, though. I'm going to do this for y'all. I'm going to taste this just a little bit. I want to make sure we get the aguacate and a little bit of that tahini dressing and the sweet potato, a little chickpea. The sweet potato, what I really like about that is because it has that sweetness. It just intensifies the flavor. It adds a different dimension to it. And I want to get a little bit of the Brussels sprout too. Maybe like a little bit of the little like leaves. I don't want to bite into the whole thing because it's going to be pretty hot. All right, here we go. Ready? I'm ready. Let me tell you something. That like creaminess of this avocado and all these flavor. I'm gonna stop. See, I just automatically. It tastes great. I think you'll love it. Try this. Let me know what you think. I'm gonna put the fork down because I have a tendency, and we're breaking bad habits. We're breaking bad habits. But taste it. Seriously, it's really, really good. It is packed with all types of colorful and wonderful veggies. You see that? All right, we'll see you soon.